Hare Krishna. So we'll proceed ahead with small little prayer. Hopefully you'll join us. You'll join me with prayer. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Destarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So let me share the slides with you all. 12 Bhagavad Gita, the devotional service. So as usual, we shall be seeing recap of previous session, chapter overview, chapter contents, life lessons, and at last chapter summary. So in the previous session, that was 11th chapter and was Virat Roop, the manifestation of cosmic form of Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, in front of Arjun and some more people. Of course, demigods were there who were observing. Sanjay, Dhritarashtra, some more people, they could see this very much massive, ghastly form of Supreme Godhead Sri Krishna. Yeah. So Arjuna requests Krishna to show this universal form, to establish Krishna's position and to shut the impostor shops. So Krishna gives Arjuna the divine vision to see the universal form. Then we saw how Krishna is the master of all yogis. Then Arjuna is having such a thrilling experience seeing Supreme Godhead's this very much heavy, ghastly form. And he was able to see what is going to happen after war. Yeah. So outcome of the war was predefined. Then Arjuna asked that, please tell me, Krishna, when he turns himself into Vishwarup, he asked that, who are you? Please let me know. Then Arjuna praised Supreme Lord with very wonderful, choicest poetry. And these all prayers are glorification by Arjuna, obeisances by Arjuna, asking forgiveness by Arjuna, and Arjuna's humble request to wind up this universal form. Then at last we saw how pure bhakti is the only prerequisite to see any form of the Lord. Pure bhakti means undivided devotional service. Means devotional service only to Krishna and no one else. Yeah, that's called undivided or else unadulterated. There is no mixing into that. There is no mixing of so many different types of karma kandas and some other people's worship, but solely one-pointed worship of Sri Krishna and devotion to Sri Krishna. That is the only prerequisite to see the supreme beautiful form of Sri Krishna as Shyam Sundarar and Murali Manohar. Yeah. So now let's proceed ahead with our 12th chapter discussion. So this 12th chapter is actually divided into 3 sections. First section we are going to discuss personalist versus impersonalist. So in the field of spirituality, there are always 2 types of people found, and usually they are with have some trifle with each other. So some are called personalists and some are called impersonalists. So Arjuna asks us question that the difference between these 2 kinds of people are very much clearly defined by Lord Sri Krishna in this chapter, from first sloka till 7th sloka. Then Lord Sri Krishna goes ahead describing how devotional service or bhakti is something which anybody can do, right? And everyone can actually get into the school of bhakti. There is no such criteria that this kind of people only can enter into school of bhakti or that kind of people only. But bhakti is the school in which every people can come and get educated and get advanced to the perfection of human form of life. So from 8th till 12th, we shall be discussing how bhakti keeps space for everyone. Yeah, how bhakti keeps space for everyone. Then we shall be seeing qualities. This is one of the very, very important section of 12th chapter. 12th chapter itself is most important section. Okay, so there are a lot of glories of 12th chapter in Padma Purana also. Then anybody who recites this 12th chapter every day in his life, he will surely and certainly return to the kingdom of God. This is one of the glorification which is mentioned in Padma Purana. This 12th chapter, which contains only 20 slokas, and every sloka is like nectar. Every sloka is like quanta of nectar coming, boom, and it refreshes the living entity. Whoever comes in contact with these slokas of 12th chapter, they are most fortunate souls. So from 13th sloka till 20th sloka, Lord Sri Krishna describes all those qualities of a person, those which after obtaining them, one becomes very dear to Krishna, very dear to Krishna. Yeah. So what are those qualities that also we'll be seeing? So now let's proceed ahead with our discussion. Personalist versus impersonalist. What is the difference between them from 1st till 7th sloka? Arjuna uvacha evam satatayukta ye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesam ke yoga vittamah. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifest? So Arjuna is asking the question that, oh Krishna, please tell me that which one are better? Those who are worshipping your personal form as Sham Sundara, or some people they worship the impersonal form of yours, which is called Brahmajyoti. So, which one you are thinking to be more perfect? Manifest, or the personal form, or the unmanifest, called impersonal form? So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord Sri Krishna gives his judgment. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Mayyavesh mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate Shraddhaya paryopetas te me yukta tamamatah. The Supreme Personality of God had said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping with me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Yeah. So Lord Sri Krishna is a person. He's a person like we all. He's not some rock. He's not some impersonal person. Like he's having feelings like us, but his feeling is unlimited. Everything with Krishna is unlimited. But he's a person also. He's unlimited emotion. He has unlimited feelings. Yeah. So he was very much eager to describe the most powerful and most direct form of yoga, that's called Bhakti Yoga. And at the first hand, he's telling those who fix their mind on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Yeah, they already told most perfect. Now he is going to tell different differences. So only two things, as Sri Krishna tells, only two things for the personalist. They have to do only two things. First, they have to fix their mind on the personal form Krishna, which is so very easy. Personal form Krishna, like to manifest, to meditate, and to contemplate, to remember some personal form is quite very easy for all of us, isn't it? You can put in the chat box what you feel like also. So Lord Sri Krishna tells that to fix their mind on the personal form Krishna, and second, they have to engage in worshipping me. So there are two things that has to be done by the personalist. By the way, we see impersonalist what they have to do. Impersonalist can attain me at last. Lord Sri Krishna tells, Ye tvaksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam sanniyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarva bhuta hite ratah. So, but those who fully worship the unmanifest. So here it is told about the people, those who are impersonalists. So those who worship the unmanifest, there is nothing called which somebody can worship the unmanifest, but still, if somebody is attached to the unmanifest, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling various senses and being equally disposed to everyone. Such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Yeah. So there are different things which this impersonalist they have to perform. First, that they have to worship something which is beyond sense perception, which is actually not perceivable by our senses, and which is all pervading, which is all pervading everywhere. Yeah, of course, Brahma Jyoti is pervading everywhere, and of course, Brahma Jyoti is one of the aspects of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. It's unchanging as Sri Krishna is also unchanging. It's fixed and is immovable. So these things are quite very much cumbersome, right? Like obviously, we are able to see that these things to meditate upon it's quite very much difficult. So three things which impersonalists have to do to at last achieve Krishna. So what are those three things? They need to control their various senses forcibly. They need to control their various senses. Second, they need to be equally disposed to everyone. And as well as they should do philanthropic work, engage in welfare activities. So these are three things the impersonalists they do, and they do some kind of advancement. They do some advancement, of course, but for them, Sri Krishna tells that they at last achieve me. Maybe it could be many lifetimes. Yeah, so they could at last achieve Sri Krishna. And what is their fate? क्लेशो अधिकतरस्तेषाम अव्यक्ता असक्त चेतसाम अव्यक्ता ही गतिर दुखम देहवद्भिर अवाप्यते. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. Klesho adhikataras means something is too much. Adhik. Klesh means miseries. For them, a lot of miseries are there. For those who are attached to the impersonal feature of Supreme, Avyaktahi gatir dukkham, and the path in which they traverse is filled with a lot of dukkha, a lot of miseries. And to make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are imburied. So now let's see the comparison between Bhakti Yogi, Savisesh and Nirvisesh Vadis. Yeah, what are the differences? Yeah, so Savisesh Vadis means impersonalist. They do what? They serve the personal form of the Lord. And Nirvisesh Vadi, they meditate upon the impersonal feature of the Lord. Both are actually what's called the aspect of the Supreme Lord. And impersonal feature, as we shall be discussing in the future also, that is actually nothing but one of the aspect and manifestation of personal feature of Supreme Lord. So ultimate beginning, never to end. Ultimate beginning, never to end. I mean, at the first shot, for the personalist, they achieve the success. But for the Nirvisesh, by the mercy of devotees, would turn into personalist. So all the personalists, all those impersonalists, ultimately to get the highest success, they need to become some day or other personalist. Yeah. So there is a lot of history, there are a lot of different examples about it. Like there are Chatush Kumaras, they were impersonalists. But when they entered into Vaikuntha planet and they smelled the tulsi from the lotus feet of Lord Narayana, then they became personalist. Then we see Sukadeva Goswami, he was also impersonalist. Then later on, hearing most transcendental, most beautiful verses in the glorification of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he became personalist. And there are a number of examples we keep seeing day-to-day life in our spiritual journey. So bhakti is supremely independent, but this result of impersonal endeavor depends upon bhakti. That's why many times those who are impersonalists, they land up doing devotional service also. Why? They think that we alone, by contemplating upon Brahma Jyoti, cannot get success. So they'll end up doing worshipping Supreme Lord, Supreme Lord's form. Yeah. So sense control is spontaneous for personalists. For the personalists, those who worship the personal form Supreme Lord as Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Krishna, or Sita Ram, or Lakshmi Narayana. These are actually personal form and most beautiful, most charming, and very much attractive forms of Supreme Lord. And when they start worshipping them, automatically their consciousness becomes absorbed with those personalities. And for them, sense control doesn't becomes a very big agenda. Sense control becomes quite very much spontaneous for them. They do not much endeavor. They don't need to much strive for sense control forcibly. So because they are attached, they get attached with something higher, not something higher, the most highest thing, which is called personal form of Supreme Godhead. And in this way, their senses are controlled. But for those who are Nirvisesh, for them there is nothing much tangible to relate with and to make relation with. So because of that, very difficult for them to control the senses. Very difficult. And many times they fall down in their path of advancement. Many times we have seen they fall down from their progressive journey. So let's see. Again, Lord Sri Krishna is telling for those who are actually worshipping the personal form of the Lord. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sannyasa matpara ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesamaham samudharta mrityu sansara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So those who worship me, Lord Sri Krishna telling, those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, giving up all their activities unto Krishna, it doesn't mean that no, you need to just sleep. You don't need to do anything. Devotees, they do all their activities, but for the result, they always depend upon Sri Krishna's personal form, Sri Krishna. Yeah. So that's why Sri Krishna is telling here that those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O Sanapratha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Yeah. So for those who are actually serving the Supreme Lord in the personal form, for them Lord Sri Krishna is telling that I am the swift deliverer. And for those who are worshipping the impersonal form, klesho adhikataras tesam, means a lot of troubles and path is very much cumbersome. So here we can see in the photo that a person who is drowning into the ocean of samsara, sometimes going inside, sometimes comes up, sometimes he's being tossed about into the waves of the samsara ocean. But when he calls for the Supreme Lord with great fervence, with great deep, intense emotion, he chants the name of Lord Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Lord Sri Krishna tells that I am the swift deliverer of that person. I come riding on the back of Garuda, and I will surely take him back home, back to Godhead. So this is what's called the devotional service. This is the power of devotional service, because Krishna is personal. Krishna is very much, personal. So when somebody calls for his help, he actually comes very swift, and he's the swift deliverer for his devotees. So bhakti, which is a product of causeless mercy of the Lord. Bhakti is not something mundane karmakandi activities. So bhakti is something which is product of causeless mercy of the Lord and his pure devotees. Is the most simple. It's just like cutting the butter. So simple. Supreme Lord is there. We have to just meditate upon him. If you cannot meditate, all things are also mentioned in the next section also that we are going to see. It's very, very simple. It's easy and most exalted way to achieve supreme absolute truth. Yeah, most exalted way of achieving this absolute truth. So now let's go to second section in which we are going to discuss Bhakti keeps space for everyone. Bhakti, in Bhakti school, everybody can get entrance. Yeah. So from 8th sloka till 12th sloka, we shall be seeing Mayya mana adhatsva Mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ataurdhvam na samsayah. So Lord Sri Krishna is telling, oh Arjuna, just fix your mind upon me. Why you're worrying much? Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. So can you imagine this? All talks are happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, is where there is going to be the biggest war in the history of planet Earth. Yeah, biggest war. So there Lord Sri Krishna is telling that just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me, always without a doubt. So how to have a yoga's perfection? This is the perfection of living with Krishna. If you want to live with Krishna, so that's why Krishna is telling, if you want to live with Krishna, then just remember him. Yeah. So, but it's not quite very easy. Remembering Krishna is not so easy, right? So, perfection of living with Krishna, there are 4 necessities. Lord Sri Krishna tells, one need to fix his mind upon personal form Krishna. You need to engage all intelligence in serving him continuously. Third, this facilitates living of that person continuously with Krishna. And this is called most exalted platform of pure devotional service. Yeah. So this is called most exalted platform. But it's not quite easy, like for all of us. It's not so easy to remember Krishna always. We remember everything except Krishna, right? Even maybe in the Bhagavad Gita classes, could be like maybe we have so many different activities, so we could be doing both things together, right? So sometimes it happens, may not be true for you. So if somebody is not able to remember Krishna, so then Krishna is telling, Krishna knows that people are so much conditioned and they won't be able to do it. So Lord Krishna tells, if you are not able to remember me, O Arjuna, you can do this. What? Ath chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyas yogena tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. My dear Arjun, O winner of the wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Yeah. So if you are not able to remember me, then follow the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga. There is something called regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga. What is the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga? There are some sorts of activities that need to perform, that you are able to see here, right? So Srila Prabhupada elaborates this point, what is called the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga. Abhyas yogena tato means rising up early in the morning, going in front of the form of Lord. It could be painting, it could be a frame, it could be a deity in any form. So going in front of the Lord and praying to him, O Supreme Lord, O Hari, O the internal potency of Lord Sri Hari, please engage me in your service, praying to the Lord, chanting the names of Lord Hari early in the morning. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. And hearing about Sri Krishna from authorized sources, like what we are doing now. Then offering simple things, what Krishna has told in 9th chapter, if you remember. Just offer me some leaves which is available everywhere, some flowers, water, and these things will please me. Yeah, patram pushpam phalam toyam, some fruits. So this is called a regulative principle. If somebody is not able to remember Krishna always, so one should do these things early in the morning. He should get up early in the morning, he should chant the names of Lord Hari, then he should hear about Krishna, and he should offer whatever is available nearby, fruits. If you make some good food, then you can offer that also to Krishna, and then you can partake prasadam. Yeah. So this activity is something called, which is very, very dear to the Supreme Lord, and this will enable one to remember Krishna always. Yeah. So now let's see, if somebody is not able to do even that, yeah, there could be many of us, there could be many people in the world who are not able to do these all things, right? So specifically, we all ISKCON devotees, they actually must do these all four things. Yeah. So then it becomes quite very easy for all of us to remember Krishna always. So somebody is not able to even do that, regulative activities, then Lord Sri Krishna tells, Abhyase api asamarthosi. If you are asamartha, if you are not able to do it, that abhyasa, mat karma paramo bhava, madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapshashi. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Wow. So it's quite very easy, right? Working for Krishna. We do so many different works, so we can take out some time for working for Krishna. Like we have seen in the history, a small little squirrel, that squirrel worked for Lord Sri Ramchandra for bridging the Indian Ocean so that Lord Sri Ramchandra and Mother Sita could meet with each other. What a great service! But that service was so very dear to Lord Ramchandra. Yeah, so very dear to Lord Ramchandra. So by doing such activities, one comes to the perfect stage. That squirrel didn't do these all things. He didn't get up early in the morning. He didn't even chanted, but he did some work for Lord Ram. Yeah. Similarly, we see Jatayu. He fought. He was a fighter. Jatayu was the vulture. He was a fighter. So he fought for Lord Sri Ramchandra. Similarly, we see throughout the whole world now, international side of Krishna consciousness is expanding. Krishna consciousness. So there are so many people that are actually in being engaged in the service of Lord Sri Krishna. There are different activities like building temples. There are so many sorts of activities like publishing, printing, content creation, and all stuff. So every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, labor. That's what Prabhupada tells in purport. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So those who are actually doing those abhyasa and propagation of this divine Krishna consciousness, so if somebody helps also to them, then what happens? He also becomes perfect. So that's called working for Krishna. Then Krishna goes ahead. If you are not able to work for Krishna, then this is another option, right? So Krishna gives so many options, so many options. So what you need to do, give up your fruit of your work. Athaidappi ashaktosi kartum madhyogam ashritah sarva karma phala tyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. However, if you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all result of your work and try to be self-situated. Yeah. So we are anyway working. We are working for our own belly. We are getting money. We are, purchasing these. All our what's called our family is going. Family is being maintained by our work. So Lord Sri Krishna is telling that try to give out the fruit of your work. Otherwise, that fruit will anyway bound you. So try to give out for some charitable trust. Yeah, there are so many causes because of for which people can actually give the donations. Yeah, so of course there are many forgery charity trusts also and many forgery cases also. So one should be very much cautious. So these all things are actually for those who are not able to do the before ones, right? And of course, for propagation of Krishna consciousness also, the fruit of work is what's called money, right? Fruit of work is money. Like for uh, most of people in this world of consumerization, fruit of work is called money. So if that money is being engaged in the service of Sri Krishna for the higher causes, in this way, slowly, one will able to come to the higher level. Then Lord Sri Krishna goes ahead, my dear Arjun, if you're not able to even do that, if you're not able to give up the fruit of your activity, then cultivate knowledge. There is only hope that you cultivate knowledge. Because you need to have some knowledge, right? What is that knowledge? That everything is temporary and we are actually here for some time. and after that we need to proceed ahead. So these are the knowledge one has to cultivate. Yeah. So Shreyo hi jnana abhyasa jnana dhyana vishishyate dhyanat karma pal tyagas tyaga shanti anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So, this cultivation of knowledge is uh, advocated at last. Yeah. So, what is the Krishna's master plan, life lesson for all of us? The most base level is cultivation of knowledge. Unless one have little knowledge that who is he, that Lord Sri Krishna tells in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita that you are soul, you are not this body. So this knowledge is very much required. So better than knowledge, Lord Sri Krishna tells meditation. Better than meditation is give up the fruit of work, giving up the fruit of work. And better than giving up the fruit of work is work for Krishna, give some time working for Krishna. And better than working for Krishna is regulative devotional service. Yeah. And this is called penultimate position of perfection. Regulative devotional service, getting up early in the morning, chanting the names of Supreme Lord Hari, then offering some bhoga to the Lord,
Yes.
and just wait.
He.
So I request Somasundar Prabhu could meet all devotees so that I could proceed ahead uninterruptedly. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So this regulative devotional service is very, very important for all of us. Most of us can actually land up here, and then success is guaranteed in this very lifetime. And this is called the ultimate perfection. Thinking always about Krishna. So this is the platform where Lord Sri Krishna is trying to bring all the living entities for all of us. This is master plan to get people to this level of thinking always about him. Yeah. So knowledge, meditation, giving the fruit of work, work for Krishna, regulative devotion service. So this is topmost. So we see from knowledge till giving up the fruit of work. This is a very, very slow process, very slow process. It may take many, many lifetimes, many lifetimes. But if by the mercy of devotees, like I'm speaking to all of you and you really took up in your heart, yes, I am gonna go worship Supreme Lord. I'm gonna go do devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Then what happens? The process is very fast. Very fast from where? Working for Krishna. Working for Krishna, a regulative devotional service. Then one can actually advance in Krishna consciousness, advance toward the perfection very quickly, and he can reach to the kingdom of God for never to return to this material world in this very lifetime. Yeah. So now let's go to section third, qualities which endears one to Krishna. Yeah. So Sri Krishna goes ahead, Lord Sri Krishna tells that these are the some few qualities, or I'm gonna tell you, which are very much endearing to me. Yeah. So if devotees they have these all qualities, then Krishna becomes very much pleased with that devotee. So what are those different qualities we are going to see? Text 13 to 14. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna eva cha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukha chami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nishchayah mayyarpita manor buddhi yo madbhakta same priyaha. So these words are so sweet. Mai arpit mano buddhi or madbhakta same priya. That person is very dear. Same priya is very dear. Yeah. So one who is not envious to anyone, but is a kind friend to all living entities. He is very much kind friend. He is friendly with all living entities. Who doesn't think himself as a proprietor, even though he has so many different enterprises, but he doesn't think himself to be the proprietor. But he understands that uh, for everything, the proprietor is only one person. His name is Krishna. He doesn't think himself to be a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Wow. So you see, there are different qualities, and there's one quality here, which is mentioned here. You see here, this is called engage in devotional service with determination. So this is the most prominent quality amongst all those qualities. So if this particular quality is there, engage in devotional service with determination, this quality hosts all those different qualities automatically. Yeah. So now let's see some more slides. He by whom no one is put in the difficulties. यस्मान् नो द्विजते लोको लोकान् नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्ष भयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो य स च मे प्रियः. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. Yeah. So a person by like you, by whom no one is put into difficulty. Like he is not envious with anyone, so why he will be after putting someone into difficulty? So that person is very dear. We see in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, being the world acharya, he was always so much compassionate for the living entities. So you see, there is a somewhere in the airport or somewhere there is a lion, and he is very humbly standing there. So once what happens, there are so many devotees in one of the airport. So many devotees, they are assembled for greeting Srila Prabhupada, and whole lounge is actually filled with devotees chanting holy name. It was wide like anything. Srila Prabhupada and Harinam Sankirtan is like building up, building up. And immediately the airport officer come and he tells that you need to clear it. So one of the leader of devotee, he comes and tells us that all devotee has to vacate this lounge. And Srila Prabhupada immediately gets up and he runs away. And he goes away. But devotees tells that Srila Prabhupada, it's not you, other devotees. But Srila Prabhupada very humbly says, I'm also a devotee. I also go out. What is the problem? So there are so many different trials and tribulations in the life of Srila Prabhupada, but he was always tolerant, always thinking how to do good to others. So this is called saintly quality. So there is a story of a saint who was taking bath in a water in a river, and in the river there was a scorpion. Somehow that got caught. The scorpion was drowning. So while taking bath, that saint took up that scorpion and trying to put it out on the land. Otherwise, it will simply drown and die. So that while he was taking that scorpion out, that scorpion was always biting him, boom, boom, like this. So as soon as he was biting, it was biting, and that saintly person was throwing it on the water. Again, it was drowning. Again, he was bringing up. Again, he was getting some bites. Again, he was throwing. So like this, one other person, he was seeing this all drama. He asked that saintly person that, "Oh Sadhu, why you are doing this? Why don't you just leave it?" It is so envious person. So that sadhu, that saintly person tells that, see, this scorpion, scorpion is, this scorpion is not living his own dharma. Then why I should leave my dharma? Why I should leave my dharma? So this is called the devotee who is so very dear to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Now let's see 16th. What are the different other qualities? Anapeksha shuchir daksha udashino gatavyatha sarvarambha parityagi yo mad bhakta same priyaha. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. Wow. So devotees are not dependent on the ordinary course of activities. So they are also do different activities as usually people they do. But for the result, they are always dependent upon Lord Sri Krishna. That doesn't depend solely that by my muscle power I will get it done, and after that I will be quite very much proud, and no. So for every activity to get it done, he is fully dependent upon Sri Krishna. So that is called, he is not dependent upon the ordinary course of activities. He is pure, expert, without cares, because he is always in connection with Krishna. He is very expert. He is always pure. Yeah, he is free from all pains. He doesn't get into pains. He doesn't suffer, and he doesn't strive for some result, because he understands that result is actually depends upon Krishna, and he just need to be an instrument in the hand of Sri Krishna, doing all these different activities as a duty, as a service. That's it. And this is the all that prize what he gets after doing those all different activities and services. Yeah. So we see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, who was 69-year-old person, is living Vrindavan, taking some books, Srimad Bhagavatam, and going alone to USA in the cargo ship, and there is no one to tend him except the captain, Mr. Pandya, and sometimes they used to visit him, and he got two heart attacks while going in the ocean. And because he was so old, there are different types of complexities. He was facing in the ship, like seasickness, nausea, and all that stuff. So he got two heart attacks, and in that situation he was fully dependent upon Krishna. He was thinking that if third will come, I will surely die. If I will surely die, then what will happen? I will just reach to my abode. I'll back to Krishna again. But still, if Krishna want whatever, let that happen. So in that very night, Lord Sri Krishna gave darshan to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was able to see that Lord Sri Krishna is as different incarnations. He actually has taken the in chargeship of that ship in different many incarnations, and his Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is assuring Srila Prabhupada that Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, please go ahead. I'm there with you. So this is called devotee, who is not dependent on ordinary course of activities. If any ordinary person would have been there, then he would have told, okay, so much trouble, so many tribulations, okay, let's return back. And he'll be feeling morose, he'll be feeling frustrated, he'll be feeling distressed. No. So for devotees, those who are dear to Sri Krishna, they are not in pain because they are actually connected with Krishna. They are always understanding that things are happening and things are going to take place by the mercy and by the influence of Sri Krishna alone. So now let's see text 17. Neither rejoices nor grieves. Yo nirvishyati na dveshti na shojati na kangshati subha shubha parityagi bhakti manya shame priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Yeah. So who neither rejoices nor grieves. In the life of Srila Prabhupada, we see there are many ups and downs came. When he went to USA for 1 year, there are so many problems, like unimaginable problems. But after 1 year, in one of the meeting of Harinam Sankirtana, it was actually covered up by New York Times. And New York Times paper actually printed Swami Flok chants in park to find ecstasy. You are able to see the cut of that particular paper here. Yeah. So all the different followers, some little followers were there then of Srila Prabhupada, and they brought that paper cut and they were showing Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada simply smiled for some time, and again he became quite very grave. Yeah. So person who is connected with Krishna, they always understand that actually everything is happening by the mercy of Sri Krishna. That's why he is always composed. Yeah, he doesn't rejoices much and doesn't also grieves much. So he neither laments nor desires. So life lesson for all of us: nothing is an impediment in the discharge of devotion service when our motivation is pure. When our motivation is just the pleasure of the Lord, then nothing can actually stop performing devotional service. If somebody tells that, Prabhuji, I'm not getting time to do devotional service. Prabhuji, I have this problem because I'm not able to chant. Prabhuji, I have this, I have that. So actually, if we are actually thinking of doing devotional service for the pleasure of Lord, there is no ulterior motive, then that's not going to stop. And nobody can actually stop that devotional service. So now let's go to next. From 18 to 19 sloka, Lord Sri Krishna is telling most of these all things are summed up as to be equal in all dualities. Shama shatrocha mitrecha tatha manapamanayoh shitoshna sukh dukkhesu samasanga vivarjitah tulya nindastutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa stitir matir bhaktiman me priyo naraha. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Yeah. So these are the qualities, the divine qualities which Krishna endear much. Yeah. So who is equal to friends and enemies. Once Srila Prabhupada was there in Australia, and there was a very tough reporter who was asking very, and actually he was very well known to counter so many different people and actually make fun of him. So that reporter came and he started charging Srila Prabhupada, and he asked Srila Prabhupada that, Swamiji, what will happen in the whole world become Hare Krishna? So he was thinking that Swami will tell something and he will say that no, it will be very nice and it will be good, and then I will catch him telling that why you are thinking like that. So Srila Prabhupada thought that the person who is asking the reporter, he should also become Krishna conscious. So whenever Srila Prabhupada was talking with anyone, he was thinking not in the way of somebody is my enemy, but he was always thinking that is the person who is actually forgotten servant of Krishna. I should remind him back again his constitutional position to be servant of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, in very humble mood, he told that, yeah, there will be always some people like you who will not accept Krishna. And by this, that reporter was taken aback. So, and like, he was not able to speak out anything. So we see devotees, those who are very dear to Krishna, they are actually equipoised in order and dishonor, heat and cold. Srila Prabhupada, who are always living in India till 69, he had to go to different places where always there is negative temperature, like we see Canada and different places. And he is always tolerant for the sake of Krishna. Yeah. So he is tolerating heat and cold, happiness and distress. Yeah. When he was in Bauri, then it was such a position, like fully dependent upon Krishna. He doesn't have any place to stay. One time, one of his associate, he was also one of young man, but quite very much addicted to drug. So Srila Prabhupada was thinking that slowly he will chant the holy names, he will actually rectify. But one day he became mad, and he just he told Srila Prabhupada that you just go away from my place. And Srila Prabhupada is to come out on the street, doesn't know where he will stay. So we see always fixed in Krishna and perfectly equipoised, whether he is getting fame or infamy, whether he is having any problem or not, is fully fixed in knowledge, in devotional service to Krishna. So become very, very dear to Krishna. Now this is the last slide. Here Lord Sri Krishna tells the person who is very, very dear to Krishna. So till this time we have seen how to become very dear to Krishna. Now Lord Sri Krishna tells how one can become very, very dear to Krishna. Yetu dharmamritamidam yathoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana mat parama bhaktaste ativa me priyah. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service, bhakti, shraddhadhana, who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Yeah. So Lord Sri Krishna tells that the people, those who are making me to the supreme goal and engage in devotional service with great faith, always engage in devotional service, are very, very dear to Krishna. So this is the bhakti process, very, very scientifically presented by Srila Rupa Goswami, that it starts with little Shraddha and it gets activated when a Shraddhavan person gets in connection with a pure, genuine devotee. Then he comes to the next level called Sadhu Sangha, and also that's called Diksha. And from there, he starts with Bhajan Kriya, he starts chanting the names of Lord Hari, performing devotional service. Then all that different misgivings, all that different unwanted things in the heart will go away. All the 6 anarthas, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, that goes away by chanting the names of Lord Hari. Then he comes to, that's called fifth platform, fifth advancement, that's called faith. He becomes very much staunchly faithful in devotional service. Then he gets transcendental test in chanting the names of Lord Hari. Then he becomes very much attached with Lord Sri Krishna. Then he becomes ecstatically attached with Krishna in love. That's called ecstatic love of Krishna. That's called bhava. And then he reaches the ultimate destination, ultimate destination of universal journey of living in it is, that's called prema. The prema, the love of Godhead, love of Krishna. And this is actually the finishing touch by Krishna and by the bhakti. And after this platform, living entities becomes perfectly ready to return to the kingdom of God after reaching to this platform called prema. So we see today, let's go to summary. So in first section we saw the two different types of people, the difference between personalist and impersonalist. Impersonalist progress is cumbersome, personalist progress is very easy and swift. We saw in the second section Lord's master plan for everyone's advancement. So we saw what are the master plan. Some one lowest one is knowledge, trying to get the knowledge. From there we go to meditation. From there meditation to give out your fruit of activities. From giving out the fruit of activities, better than that is working for Krishna. And we saw even better than working for Krishna is following regulative principles, getting up early in the morning, chanting the names of Lord Hari, hearing about Krishna, offering simple things to Krishna and partaking the Mahaprasadam. And the topmost is called remembering Krishna always. So this is called master plan of Krishna. And so till the time one gets in association of devotees, that's called super slow process that goes from knowledge, meditation, then after meditation comes what's called giving up the fruit of work. So meditation doesn't mean that remembering Krishna, that's meditation is separate. Meditation is meditation upon impersonal jyoti. Yeah. So that's called super slow process. But super fast process starts from the association of devotee. And then he starts actually working for Krishna and putting his life schedule in regulative devotion service. So in this way, he fastly, very fastly, swiftly advances in Krishna consciousness, in perfection of life. Then we saw 31 qualities of devotee which endears Krishna. Those all 31 qualities are very, very dear to Krishna. And then we saw devotional service to Krishna is most important quality. And this is the quality which brings all those different 31 qualities. Yeah. So if somebody does devotional service to Krishna, he gets all those qualities. Yeah. So this is the trick. Sarupa Lakshana, the Sarupa Guna, the real, what's called the real wealth, the real quality is devotion. So devotion brings all the different qualities. Yeah, so thank you so much all of you. So we end here our 12th chapter of discussion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If you have any question, query, you can put in the WhatsApp group. And if you have some, you can also put in the chat box, or you can speak out yourself. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So hopefully there is no such question, inquiry. So let's stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.